What?
Says he.
Says he. You start the podcast, then you get up and wander off.
That just shows how much fucking interest I've got in anything you've got to say, doesn't it?
Oh, I don't say much on the podcast. It's good.
No, you just, as usual, you leave it all for me to do, the work.
Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm fucking sick.
We had this conversation this morning, you, me and Holly. And here's what I had to say about it. Ready? If you're watching this, that's what Connor did. Nothing. And for those who are just listening, it says he did nothing. Description of Connor's fucking every day.
It's so fucking funny. I don't know how this has fallen on me, Mr. fucking... I take days off to do no work because sometimes I just don't feel like it himself.
Excuse the fuck out of me? Oh, I'm going to take the day off because I've got to carry a fucking sofa into the house. I need to go and have a lie down with some beer, you fucking homo.
Moving house is an ordeal.
You still fuck off back to your parents for them to feed you now.
I haven't been back once. I'm going back for the first time this weekend.
Why are you doing that for, man? That's just torture.
Some of us like our family.
Mine are all dead except my brother, so I don't suppose it really matters to me, does it? It would be difficult for me to do anything but what I do.
It would be rather difficult.
Ah, perfect timing.
Yeah.
Perfect timing. For those who can't see what Connor's doing,
I exaggerate.
His fucking great big bucket of water with a spout on it. It's his latest drinks thing. Cost him 12 quid or something from Amazon. But that's not the funny thing. The funny thing is, are you going to tell him, Connor, or shall I? You got this fucking hyper expensive drinks bottle coming. It's got 60 odd quid.
60, 70, 80 quid. It was no more than 80. I think it was about 60.
And where is it?
It's not here.
It's not. Where is it?
It's nowhere. It doesn't exist. It's not been made.
So you've paid 80 quid for a drinks bottle that doesn't exist. Why was that, Connor? Tell everybody why you did that.
Because it looked cool.
It looked cool. How? It doesn't look like anything that doesn't exist.
Oh, the video that sold me on it looked cool.
Where did you buy it from, Connor?
Kickstarter.
So you've paid 80 quid for a fucking Kickstart drinks bottle and you still haven't got it. And when was this? Before Christmas, surely.
Oh, God. January last year.
You're fucking kidding me.
No, they said it'd be delivered by October. And I thought, oh, that's great. It'll be like a birthday present to myself.
They didn't say what year, though, did they?
They didn't.
So let's get on. I had no idea it was over a year away. I can't wait to tell Holly about that.
Yeah, it was before COVID and everything.
Oh, fuck. I'm going to message Holly now. Sorry, mate.
I got it because that was when we were both going for walks really early and talking over Voxer.
I remember
and it really pissed me off that I had a pain. It really pissed me off that I had to carry a separate coffee travel cup thing and a water bottle. It really fucked me off.
Bullshit notification.
This is how sales work, isn't it? The irrational side of the brain.
This is brilliant.
So it annoyed me that these were two separate entities. And this company, their whole thing is you can have it in one. The coffee cup screws to the top of the water bottle, so you only have to hold one thing. When you're done with the coffee, it slides into the bottom of the water bottle and you can't see it anymore. It's like it isn't there, and there's this like secret fucking handshake you have to do with it to get it back out. And I was like, that is exactly what I'm after. And
how's it working out for you?
It's still exactly what I want, but it's still not here. So I've resorted to this thing.
Just give me a second, Connor. Holly, I'm actually recording the podcast right now, and I've just found out from Connor, that fucking water bottle. He ordered it in January 2020. When we've heard him talk about it, he's acted as if it's only a couple of months. It's been well over a fucking year. Yeah, can you hear him choking away? He's just fucking choking on his water now. Useless bastard, I tell you. I was told Holly should be laughing about that. So for the gentle listener, Connor, the man you would I presume, trust to help you with your business, has bought a water bottle over a year ago, and he still hasn't got it. And he still reckons it was a good decision.
I do. I stand by my decision. I can't wait for it to come.
That is a quirk of human nature. Once we've made a decision, we tend to stick by it, despite all the evidence it was a really stupid thing to do.
Well, I still haven't found an alternative to the water bottle I've ordered, and still hasn't come. So I'm just clinging on to the hope that it will come.
Clinging on to the hope, exactly.
Then my decision will be vindicated, because it fills a genuine problem on my walk.
But it doesn't, though, does it?
Two separate things.
But it doesn't solve the problem, because it doesn't exist.
To carry a travel mug.
It doesn't exist.
It will solve the problem if it turns up.
If. So if it turns up, and if it's exactly as they said it was, and it works that way, then it may solve your problem. But you may find it weighs 3/4 of a fucking ton. You can't carry it.
3/4 of a ton.
Oh, I don't know. It might be fucking filled with osmium or something.
If it costs 3/4 of a ton, they wouldn't have charged me £10 for shipping.
That's a very good point. Well, no, I don't know. I mean, I just got a half a ton of firewood delivered for free, so it's not
built into the price, you dipshit. It's not genuinely free, is it?
Well, said so.
Free shipping doesn't exist, apart from on Amazon. But it's not free. It's built into the price. It's a calculated sales and pricing strategy. These people that are just like, oh yeah, well, that will, I'm more than happy to fucking pay a little bit extra just if the shipping says free. So they're like, well, it just feels good to not have to pay for shipping.
That's absolutely true. That's true. That is.
Yeah, it's vindicated, but it's just idiotic.
On that topic, a kind of different way of looking at it. You know what I find really quite annoying, and I refuse to partake, to play the game. When you see, say, a book for sale on Amazon and it's a penny and they're charging you for the shipping, that's where they're making their money.
Yeah.
And I just find it deceitful. Just fucking charge me a decent price for the book. Don't hide it.
Yeah,
I find that quite annoying.
Several internet marketers do, isn't it? Free book, you just cover the shipping, gets to the shipping, and what does it cost? Yeah, what does it cost to post a book? £3?
I don't know, depends where it's going. I mean, from here to the UK, it was about €7, but locally it's about £3.
So about three. So on this internet marketer's book that you're about to buy, free book plus shipping. And then, as you said, the shipping fees come to £19 miraculously.
And bearing in mind, the one I'm talking about is a big, thick one. I mean, most of these books are like that fucking thick, about 20 pages.
Yeah. It's just like that rubs me up the wrong way.
So anyway, moving swiftly on, we had a nice message on LinkedIn yesterday. Some guy was saying how we keep him entertained while he's driving his truck around West Cork. So at least we're not completely fucking useless. No,
we're not. What does he do?
Well, I don't know, but he drives a truck. At least. I'll have a look if you like.
I'm glad he enjoys the podcast.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, it's after all, that's what we're here for, to work for free and fucking entertain people.
Well, we
want your money.
It's a fun, efficient way to produce mass content.
Well, I enjoy it. I mean, it's got its downsides, like talking to you every fucking day, but otherwise, it's
GameStop's up 10%. My watch has just let me know.
What's up?
GameStop.
What's GameStop?
GameStop stock.
Oh, that fucking
my watch just buzzed saying, "Woo, your investment's up 10%."
Well, you just something with bearings and transmissions, so it's very technical.
Smart guy, knows his stuff. Got good taste in podcasts.
Absolutely. So, Mark, I won't use his last name because that would be naughty of me. But Mark, thank you for your nice comments. I hope you're enjoying this, and drive safely, drive carefully, and particularly avoid the Jack Lynch tunnel when it's busy.
And for everyone else who's listening who hasn't even paid us a compliment, let alone
money.
pay to join us in foundations. Huh? Fuck you, motherfucker. Anything you want to add to that?
I'd just say if anyone's thinking about sending something nice to thank us, like a nice gift to thank us for the work we put into these entertaining podcasts, send Connor a water bottle.
Oh, you're so fucking funny.
Just fucking glue them together. He'll be as happy as a pig in shit. He's easily pleased. It's Connor. Coffee cup of the water bottle fit together. And this is the thing against me. I'm the fucking special one.
Yes, you are, John.
I'm the one that he's supposed to stick in the corner, banging a spoon on a tray or something to keep him entertained. How do you keep Connor entertained? I'd give him a fucking coffee cup, water bottle, and some glue, and he'll be away for hours. Oh, do you want to hear a funny story? Dead true. Yesterday.
Yes, I do.
Well, when we walk the dogs, right? I mean, Sarah didn't go yesterday. When we walk the dogs, there's a dog just up the way called Jessie. It's a great big, it's about 18-month-old retriever. No older than 2 years. And it's just so fucking friendly. It's full of life as puppy dogs are. Well, yesterday she saw me walking back up the path and she saw me from the other side of this really muddy field. So she was with a person. She fucking left this person. She came galumphing across the field and there was fucking shit and mud flying everywhere. It looked like the Grand National, you know. And she fucking dived on me and said hello, and she said hello to the dogs, and she's fucking running around in this field at the side of the path, also in the mud. She gets overheated, so she goes and lies down in a puddle, a muddy puddle. So gets up, takes one look at it, and then fucks off back home again. So this dog would have turned back up at home absolutely fucking covered in sticky mud. Oh, I was pissing myself laughing because you wouldn't want to let it in the house. It was just covered. I mean, she's just so happy. You cannot possibly spend time with Jessie and not smile because she's just so stupid. Yeah, his fucking dog was covered in mud. This is the dog. I told you about it before. This is the dog that sometimes walks with us.
Oh, is it that one?
That's the one, yeah. And the woman has a couple of times been out looking for an hour and a half looking for their dog. And she said, well, can't you bring her back? And no, I'm not. It's not my job. You want to keep your dog under control, then keep it chained up or keep it in the house or keep a watch on it or train her better. It's not my job to walk back a mile to bring your dog home. I look after her when she's with me, and I've actually fucking trained this dog
to do what?
To come, to sit, to heel, to get off the road when the cars are coming. Yeah,
fair enough.
I said, I look after her the best I can, but she's not my responsibility to bring home to you.
No.
It's not. It's just not. Anyway. So it's fucking hilarious. This fucking dog covered in mud. So anyway, we're moving on from pricing and the other thing we were talking about. What were we talking about before? Pricing and irresistible outcomes and shit. What I want to talk about now is spend some time talking about smooth nurturing.
Smooth like a baby's bottom.
Just like, I was thinking about baby's bottoms as well. I spent quite a bit of time thinking about baby's bottoms.
Well,
not as much as Jimmy Savile did, but there you go.
Yeah, we send each other pictures of baby's bottoms.
Do we?
I really shouldn't say this shit. I'll get in a lot of trouble one day.
Especially as you're thinking of someone else, because I've never seen a picture of baby's bottom from you.
I'm fucking joking. I'm joking. I just want to make it very clear.
Oh, so you say. So tell us, Tom. Tell me and the rest of the thousands of people who listen to the show, who have you been sending pictures of baby's bottoms to?
It's this really shady guy down the street. He said if I do it, he won't release the video of me wanking over one of the pictures.
Oh, I keep getting those emails. Hi. Transfer £500 in Bitcoin. Otherwise, I'm going to send this picture of you wanking to this porn site to all your contacts. How many have I? And I keep thinking, which one this time? There's so many of them. It could be one of any number I've been fucking wanking to. But anyway, yeah, smooth nurturing. I don't have them in front of me, but I remember seeing some stats from the two sets of stats from Dan Kennedy. One was the stats on how many people leave a business. And it was things like 1% die or move, 1% die, maybe, this is over a year, maybe 1% die, probably 3 or 4% move away. And various people leave for different reasons, different supplier, come to friend and family, that kind of thing. But something like 68% of the people who leave a business and take their business elsewhere do so because of indifference. They're not followed up with, they're not spoken to, they're just treated as as an old client of mine used to describe his customers, and I'm not making this, as buying units. He would describe them as buying units. Now, I'm autistic and not very empathetic, but I would not describe my clients as buying units.
Yeah,
even I can see there's something wrong with that. So that's one set of stats. 68% of people leave a business because they're not valued. They don't feel valued. And then the other side of it was so many percentages of when people buy. So something like 2 or 3% of people buy on the first contact, and it goes up. And it's something like 90% of sales are made on or after about the 12th kind of contact. Something like that. And I can dig them out if people are really interested. The exact numbers are not that important. What's important is the vast disparity. So you've got something like a huge number of nearly 70% of people leave a business because they're not valued, and people don't buy until maybe the dozenth or so contact. So you're losing. It becomes absolutely like most people when they get a lead, when they get leads coming in, they're losing about 90% of the possible business they could get simply because they're not following up. They assume because people don't buy straight away, they're not going to buy at all. They don't want to, and it's far from the truth, Now, we can kind of follow people up without explicitly getting their contact details by using tracking pixels. Well, that's becoming more and more difficult as Apple have changed their rules. Indeed, GDPR means it's not necessarily kosher to do so. So that's getting more difficult, but you can do it to an extent, but most of them don't even do that. But there's one marketer out there who has been claiming since 2017, lead generation is dead. He's as full of shit as a septic tank, because I see ads from him nearly every day on Instagram doing lead generation. I mean, that is so dishonest. He's a piece of fucking shit. It really is. But the point is, lead generation is simply you get someone's details, however you get them, doesn't really matter. There's loads of ways to do that. But you get their details and then you follow up their interest. Yeah? And there's the ultimate follow-up strategy I've got for people if they're interested. You want to know what it is?
What is it?
The ultimate follow-up strategy. It works better than anything else we should ever do. And that is you follow up immediately and forever, and you keep doing it, and you stop only when they buy, die, or tell you to stop.
Buy, die, or unsubscribe.
Yeah, or just say, don't do this anymore. Because, most people have got this, and the people, particularly email marketing, which we'll talk about in a minute, people are fixated by open rates. It's a little bit like people on the equivalent on social media would be their views, likes, comments, and shares. They're obsessed by these metrics. And what they don't realize is that, your reported open rate on email is about half of what your actual open rate is because of the mechanics of it. I don't want to go into detail, but if you've got a reported open rate of 25%, your actual open rate is probably about 50, something like that. Well, that's pretty good, because it means that 50% of the people on average are opening your emails every day. What you don't realize is it's not the same 50%. There's probably a hardcore of a few percent who read everything. I know there are because they've told me, and mine for a start. But most people, they don't. And I don't have any email list I'm on that I read every single day religiously. I just don't. Well, that doesn't mean I'm not interested in the topic. It just means that I've got other things to do. So when you send an email sequence out of 3 emails and someone doesn't buy, what happens is people get despondent. Oh, no one's interested. It's shit. It's failed. But it hasn't. It's just that you have unrealistic expectations of what you can expect. It's like people on LinkedIn who post a post, often attention seeking, things like, I've had these awful DMs, and right from now on, any man who sends me a bad DM and an unpleasant DM, I'm going to name and shame. No one gives a shit anyway. And 2, your post has got a lifespan of about 6 to 12 hours, and then it's gone. No one gives a shit about it. Social media, email, things like that, even direct mail are transitory. So you need to keep hitting them with a hammer, almost. It's like cracking a rock open. You can hit the rock 100 times and nothing happens. And the 101st hit, the rock splits. So it's a little bit like this. To crack these nuts, you have to keep hammering away at it. So direct follow-up is absolutely paramount. You've got to be relentless about it. And if you start not doing it because you think, because sometimes, you will get unpleasant responses sometimes. If you let that put you off en masse, you're making a mistake. If you let their silence, what you take as a tacit rejection, put you off, you fail, because it's anyone who takes this kind of rejection personally is immediately losing, I think. So follow up immediately and forever, and only stop when they buy, die, or tell you to. It's as simple as that. Now, the easiest way to do it now, and this is the best way to follow up, guaranteed. You ready?
What is it?
Whichever way you follow up, that gets you the best results. Because there's so many different ways to do it now.
Blue balled.
Eh?
For blue balled, John.
Blue ball, but it's true. Because there's so many ways of doing it. And some people will find telephone follow-up to be effective. We probably would, but I refuse to do it. And if someone else wants to do it, fine. Whether we do it, whether you or Holly do it, or we get it done by an outside agency, I don't care. I'm not doing it. I refuse. But there's so many ways to follow up, such as telephone, fax if you have permission, direct mail, in-person knocking on doors, following people with the ads, retargeting ads. That's a kind of follow-up. There's loads of ways of doing it. They all work to some extent, and some will work better with certain audiences. Like, here's another thing. Older generations, like myself, respond still to in-print ads and stuff, but even then, even better, they respond very well to direct mail. I mean, now's a great time to be sending direct mail because no one's doing it. The letterboxes are empty and people are stuck at home still on furlough and getting the postage that's highlighted their day.
Yeah.
But of course, people just don't. They'll maybe show an ad, maybe put a post on LinkedIn, possibly send a half-hearted message and just let it die. And then they weren't interested. Any woman will tell you persistence is attractive, and you don't have to be sleazy about it either. So the best way to follow up is the way that gets you results. That's as simple as that. But you won't know which is the best way for you until you try them all, or at least one of them. And if you don't want to try, and if you try one and it works and that's good enough, that's fine. Just fucking do it. But most people don't follow up at all. They'll show an ad, they'll post a post, and then they'll just let it fizzle out. That person wasn't interested. I have failed. It's pathetic, really. You've got to be relentless and not ruthless, because it's got the wrong connotations, but you need to be relentless with it. Just don't give up until they, no means no. Absolutely, that's true. I've taught my girls that from day one. No always means no. But no doesn't always mean no never. It means no right now.
Yeah.
And there are ways to keep following. We send a daily email every single day. We maybe miss one in 14 or 15.
We send being lazy or something.
Yeah, we send an email every single day. And over the years, I've had people, I said the other day, turn up to events, pay $2.5K, $2K for an event, having been on my email list for literally 3 or 4 years, and only ever bought a book from me. But they've been getting emails all that fucking time. But if I hadn't sent those emails, I'd have never fucking filled those events.
Yeah.
I remember one guy owned an e-commerce site. He was kind of in my inner circle years ago. And he put it very succinctly. He said, the more emails I send, the more money I make. Simple as that.
Well, is that because emails are the easiest follow-up strategy in the world, or?
Pretty much. The thing about email, people need to be clear about this. Email marketing is not a strategy. Email marketing is a tactic.
Yeah.
Email marketing is a tactical implementation of the strategy of relentless follow-up. So when you see people selling email as it's a strategy, they're talking shite. They are people with a hammer looking at your business as if it's a nail. But what I will say is email marketing is extremely powerful. It's very cheap. Autoresponder, I mean, say Active Campaign, you can get an adequate subscription for a year to Active Campaign for about 110 quid. I mean, even if you spend 110 quid and it's completely useless, that's not much of a risk to take over a year. If your business can't afford to lose 110 quid on something speculative like that every year, you're in the wrong fucking game. You should be getting a job, not a business. You really should. So it's cheap. It's quick. Yeah, I realise that most people aren't really au fait with email writing, maybe daily emails. Then it is a learned skill. I mean, I'm a master at it, even though I say so myself. I've taught it for more than a decade. One of my flagship products was email supremacy, and it's made people literally millions of pounds. It has. That's a learned skill, but it's not a difficult one to learn. There's only a few principles you need to learn. Then you just need to go and do it. So it's cheap and it's quick. My daily email takes me less than half an hour to do every day. Holly started writing more, and I went on a Thursday for us. And when she first started, she found it difficult. 6 months later, she's turning out emails. They're easily as good as anything I do. And they're easy too, because how difficult is it to sit there, write an email, load it into ActiveCampaign? It's fucking dead easy. And the other thing about it is what makes it so powerful is it's ubiquitous. Everyone has an email address. All this bollocks about email is dead. No one uses email. It's bullshit. Even teenagers and young people, if they've got a TikTok account, if they've got an Apple ID, if they've got a Facebook account, if they've got a LinkedIn account, if they're in business, if they've got a Twitter account, they have an email address.
Yeah. I'm interested.
There's no two ways about it.
You just said Twitch, didn't you?
No, Twitter.
Oh, I thought you said Twitch. I was going to say, I didn't expect to hear you talking about Twitch.
What's Twitch? Never heard of it.
It's the biggest live streaming platform in the world, I believe.
Never heard of it.
A dedicated live streaming platform in the world.
Never heard of it.
Anyway.
But yes, ubiquitous. Everyone has an email address. And because they need to read these emails from places like Facebook and stuff, at least occasionally, they have access to it. You can't have a PayPal account without an email address, I don't think. You can't buy things online without an email address. It's Amazon. You have to have an email address. So people do have them. To say, no one reads it anymore, it's just bullshit. It's just bullshit. It really is.
It's a lazy excuse.
It is a lazy excuse. What people tend to do is they'll say, I never read email, therefore no one else does either. You're talking out your arse, man.
Yeah. Utter shit.
Projecting.
Yes. And it's also because I don't read emails because most emails I receive are shit newsletters. Newsletters, you prick.
That's absolutely right. I mean, like I said to you a minute ago, it's a learned skill. And anyone listening to this who gets my daily emails will know the style of the email I write. My aim with email.
And if you don't get John's daily emails, you should. And the easiest way you can get that is to go to growyourbusinessfast.co.uk/BA. Get yourself a Business Accelerator. You get yourself in the Facebook group and you get some daily emails for free.
For free. Great learning exercise. I mean, I've been writing daily emails most days for probably the last 12 years. I've got literally thousands of them. Literally. Millions of words. Millions of fucking words. And anyone can do it. And like I say, the people who've done it and stuck to it make a lot of money out of it. So, but the important thing is it is just a tactical implementation of a strategy. I don't want anyone thinking that, email is a strategy. It's not.
No,
it really is.
We've done a whole episode, haven't we, on strategy versus tactics, or at least a 1 minute hate.
We did a 1 minute hate, yeah. Or rather, I did a 1 minute hate.
Whose idea was the 1 minute hate?
Not yours, I know.
Big Daddy over here getting disrespected, forgetting that I'm a fucking marketing genius.
Hang on, who called it the 1 minute hate as a nod to George Orwell? Me.
What did I call it? I called it I said I'm going to give you a minute to
rant.
Have a go. I think I called it EBG's 1 minute. Corner.
I would actually say that anyone who cannot make the connection between the 1 minute hate and George Orwell should be taken out and shot. They've got no business listening to someone educated like me.
See, anyone who hasn't, you're in the camp with me, because when John said we should call it the 2 minute hate, and I said, why the fuck would we call it the 2 minute hate when, one, I'm only giving you a minute, and two, it's a catchy name, but what the fuck? Where's that come from? And he went, oh my God. Well, we can call it the 1 minute hate. I was like, well, that's better, but why are you so attached to the hate part? And he's like, oh, George Orwell. I was like, yes, I know George Orwell. He's like, so you should know this. I was like, shut up, John.
Didn't you go to school?
Yeah, the School of EBG, and EBG doesn't talk about Orwell much in his books and videos. So you've only got...
What did you do for the first 15 years of your fucking life then?
Wanked.
Well, fucking, I wouldn't, the thing is, that's fucking true, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Not a fucking joke.
Well, why do you think I've only got one eye? I wank myself blind.
Because you take after Chris Cardell, I don't know.
You've name dropped now. He's fixed his eye with the power of thought. Leave him alone.
Allegedly. I mean, you can be forgiven for thinking that was bullshit, but hey, who am I to doubt the man?
Well, the brain power he's saving by only utilising one eye is clear for everyone to see with his genius tactics and strategies and honesty and integrity.
I'm not saying anything.
I haven't said anything horrible.
I didn't say you had. I'm just saying I'm not saying anything.
Stop looking at me like that.
Like fucking what?
Like
I'm looking at you chugging away in your vodka.
I wish this was... I've got some vodka in the fridge, actually.
Oh, I don't know alcohol in the house. If I do, I'll drink it.
I've got 5 bottles of whiskey in the car as well.
Fucking hell, what for?
I like whiskey, but I don't like finishing the bottles because I just want to taste it. So then I've tasted it, and then I'll have a few glasses of it over like every now and again. And then I'll be like, well, I know what this one's like now, and I've got something else to celebrate. So let's celebrate with a new bottle of whiskey.
Why are they in the car?
Because they came with me in the move. I just haven't bothered to take them out, so they're still in the car.
I'll tell you what is nice.
What?
When I have vodka, I put the vodka in the freezer.
Yes, we've got ours.
So it comes out and it's not frozen. I mean, it's very cold, obviously, but it's not frozen solid. But it's really fucking thick and syrupy. And it's fucking fabulous because it doesn't burn off. And then you get that fucking burn in your stomach.
Yeah, the warm.
Fucking
I've got a real soft spot for limoncello.
For what?
Limoncello?
That sounds like a fucking bad boy band. Never heard of it.
It's alcoholic. It's lovely. It's not very strong, I don't believe. Limoncello percent. I want the percent. Tell me the percent. I think it's like 19%. Oh, 32%. It's fucking gorgeous, mate. It's
proof.
It's pardon?
Is that proof? Percent proof? Or by volume?
ABV by volume.
Yeah, so vodka and whiskey are about 40, aren't they?
64 proof. Yeah, because the ABV is always half the proof, isn't it?
Possibly, I don't know. I couldn't comment.
I'm pretty confident with that statement.
But anyway, the point is, it's not. It's about 3/4 the potency of whiskey. And
this episode's been a fucking shambles. You can tell it's a Friday. Our Friday ones, we fly through the business shit. We spend so much time talking about random shit. Every Friday. I'm looking at my notes here. For those that don't know, I'm not chatting shit when I say we do this podcast. One, because people love hearing us talking long form content, but two, it makes the content creation that goes on other platforms far more strategic. It introduces people to me early. So we lead with that. We think about the content that we want to put on other platforms. And then we create it all within the podcast. So I take notes at different points that, hey, that's a good clip to go on other platforms. And usually in between each noted time, there's a good 15 minutes because we spend anywhere from sort of 4 to 8 minutes talking about the topic, and then we go deeper and deeper and deeper. And we don't want to put shit that's too long up on these other platforms. So it ends up, as I said, usually about 15 minutes in between each segment. There was 3 minutes pretty much exactly between the first and second segment. So we spoke about that first segment for like 2.5 minutes. And then in between the second and third segment, there was 3 minutes and 30 seconds. So we probably spent about 3 minutes talking about the fucking second segment. And the rest of the time has been spent talking about water bottles and limoncello and Chris Cardell. Hey, we threw that one in there. I wasn't expecting to hear that name of that honourable gentleman in this podcast.
Well, I was going to do a 1 minute hate on toxic masculinity, but you know what? I can't be bothered. I cannot be bothered to do a rant. It's too late in the week.
How can you even do a 1 minute hate on toxic masculinity?
Well, it's people who fucking always talk about it. I mean, yesterday, right?
It's a thing. It's real, mate. It's real.
Oh, suck my cock.
It's real, mate. You are like a walking embodiment of toxic masculinity.
You want to punch in the fucking throat? Yesterday.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Yesterday, right? Somebody posted on LinkedIn a quote by Elon Musk, which was effectively saying, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, don't be someone who needs approval from others or encouragement, because you're not suited to it. Something along those lines.
He's absolutely right.
I absolutely agree with you. If you need encouragement for other people's approval and stuff, you will not fare well as an entrepreneur or business owner.
Yeah, or you'll run your business right.
That's what I meant when you say you won't fare well. Well, among the other cockwombles who posted, bearing in mind most of the people who commented negatively were not business owners or entrepreneurs, and two, they didn't comment about what he'd said, they commented about him. So double fucking whammy of cockwomblery there. But the other thing was one person posted, this is like something like the worst kind of toxic masculinity. It has nothing to do with toxic masculinity at all. Just the fact that this is what I detest about people who talk about toxic masculinity. Any kind of masculinity seems to be toxic to some people, and that includes having a penis in the first place.
Yeah,
it's wrong to judge people from their sex or their gender or their color unless you're a fucking white man. Some of these people, I'm not saying that's a general thing, but a lot of people, if you're a white male, white heterosexual male, any opinion you have is privileged or wrong. Well, as I've said to neurotypical feminists before, well, okay, what's more important, my white male privilege or your neurotypical privilege? And they get all frothy at the mouth because all of a sudden their worldview is disrupted.
Yeah.
Well, any form of masculinity is seen by a lot of people as being toxic. And I don't think we have enough masculinity in the world. I don't think it's healthy for society. Most children spend most of their days, for most of their formative years, in almost the exclusive company of women, teachers. I don't think that's healthy. I think that's part of our problem. I think young kids, men, young boys, young girls, they need to be around strong men. They really do, because they will teach, men can teach boys, and this sounds very wanky, I'm sure, and a lot of people will object to this. Strong men can teach little boys how to grow up to be men. And strong men don't hit women. And strong men don't abuse children. And strong men stand up for what they believe in and stand up for others. That's what strong men do. Weak men become bullies. Weak men hit women. Weak men abuse children.
Yeah.
And women cannot teach boys to be men. I don't care what they say. They can't. In the same way, we can't teach them to be, we can't teach girls to be women. We're two separate species almost. And I think girls should be around strong men too, so they can learn what to expect from a strong man, what they can aspire to in their relationships. So I don't think young kids spend enough time around strong men. They just don't. And I wholeheartedly reject the idea that men should become more like women because women have got it right. I disagree. Absolutely. I think women have generally, the way the world has evolved, the way we've evolved as a species with men and women, it's absolutely true. Women have evolved to be very much more empathetic than we have, and easier to read, for them to read body language and things, because they help to diffuse angry men. Because an angry male is a dangerous thing. That's true. But the fact is, sometimes, for instance, aggression and violence are absolutely the right response. But to hear a lot of people speak is always wrong. No, it isn't. If I see a young woman being abused and physically abused by a bloke, I'm going to get physical with him. And it's just, I really detest that kind of attitude. They want to, some people, not everyone, but some people, they want to emasculate all men and make us into kind of pseudo women. I'm not buying it. I don't want it. And a lot of women I know agree with me. Well, if they don't, I sort of slap them, obviously.
I think it's people of certain upbringings and people from certain eras that definitely subscribe and understand there are differences between men and women, and I consider those people smart people. Those that try and discredit there's things you can learn from men, there's things you can learn from women, are idiots, and they just think we're all people and it doesn't matter about what we have between our legs and yada yada yada. It's like, you're right, it doesn't matter what people have between their legs when it comes to valuing them as a person. However, it matters when it comes to your fucking biological makeup, because you're going to be predisposed isn't the right word, but you're not going to be set up to deal with situations better than your gender counterpart. It's just fact for the most part, especially when it comes to physical situations. You can't argue it.
There are even people out there who have argued that mathematics and science are, because they're more logical and more, by definition, they're logical and robust in their reasoning, they are inherently sexist. What kind of fucking dickhead would say something like that? They would basically put their ideology over facts. It's just fucking insane. And we're supposed to take these people seriously.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. There's long story short, there's something to learn from pretty much everyone. More often than not, with the general population, you learn what not to do and what not to be like. But I fully believe there's a lesson to be learned from everyone.
What I'd like to know,
and I've gone.
I was going to say, if men like me are so unpleasant and dangerous with my views and things, what I'd like to know is, why do my daughters and my stepdaughter and my wife adore me? And it ain't because they're scared of me, sure. Well, obviously Stockholm syndrome, But seriously, they do.
Yeah, Stockholm. That's the syndrome I was after. There's yeah, I know they do. I know for a fact they do. There's one thing I've noticed in life. When you meet a strong woman, they tend to be far more resilient than most men. Than like 99% of men I've met. The quiet, resilient, strong woman who's just quietly just holding it all together inside. They're strong people in general. But what I have found is that there seems to be more silently strong women than men.
Yes, I would tend to agree.
And on the counterpart, there's strong compared to women. Men are far more stronger in sort of publicly withholding and upholding, their values and morals. And I think that's due to the fact that most strong men aren't afraid of that potential physical violent threat, which is inherent in every disagreement, especially with strangers. I don't care what anyone says.
No, you're right.
Someone's having a disagreement there. If you're not thinking this could get violent from the minute the disagreement starts, you're an idiot.
Yeah, I mean, we should be teaching self-defense in schools, for instance. And I think we should be teaching children, yes, bullying is wrong and we should stop it whenever we can, but also teaching them how to deal with it, physically as well as mentally. To pretend it's not happening and it should be stopped, and because it shouldn't happen, we're not going to help you deal with it, is, to me, is wrong.
But to pretend that all fighting is bad and to pretend that violence doesn't happen in life is just stupid. It's stupid.
It is, yeah. I also think sometimes violence is the correct answer and the desirable. Someone's abusing animals and children, they deserve a fucking good hiding.
Well, sometimes it is literally the only answer.
Like, somebody breaks into my house at night when I'm in bed, there's going to be no discussion, no reasoned argument. I'm going to pick up my fucking 13th century replica Warhammer and I'm going to hit him with it as hard as I possibly can where it's going to do the most damage. I'll worry about the consequences afterwards. But there won't be any, because I should take the body and just fucking hide it. I mean, we live in rural Ireland and you can hide bodies around here. You could hide, there's hundreds of bodies around here, I'm sure. I could hide a body in the fucking orchard over there and no one's going to find it until we move out. Sure, even then it might take years, just under the brambles, I might have some there already for all you know.
Yeah, I'm sure you have, mate. I'm sure you have. But yeah, the people that just try and discredit violence completely and just paint it as the devil. It's like sometimes it's the only rational answer, and therefore everyone should be mildly trained, and at the very least in self-defense. Yeah,
It's healthy. It is wonderful for boys and girls' self-esteem and also their self-control. Boys learn how strong they actually are and how it feels to hit and be hit, for instance, which is important. Boys should wrestle, fathers should wrestle with their boys to teach them their own strength, because often they don't know. Yeah. And only for men, well, boys grow into men, young men, and then older men who use violence to get their own way with women and weaker people because they've never been taught otherwise. So sometimes they might need to be taught by stronger men when they're younger. If you start using that kind of force on others, others will use that kind of force on you to stop you, and it's not pleasant. But it's men do see the world differently, and I will not tolerate women trying to force their way into men's lives, saying this is how you should be doing things, when it's nothing to do with them, and it often isn't. How we view the world, how we think about ourselves, how indeed, if we want to suppress our own emotions and things, that's up to us, not up to people, women to come barging in, or anyone else come barging in saying, "Oh, you mustn't do that, it's toxic." Well, fuck off. Go suck a bag of moldy dicks.
As I said before, the world would be and as you've said many times before, the world would be a much better place if people just mind their own fucking business.
Absolutely.
It is the cure to like fucking half the social issue. Pretty much every social issue that is happening is just stupid. I did taekwondo when I was younger, got one off a black belt and had to have a hip operation, and I wasn't allowed to do any impact sport for like a year and a half after. So that just went out the window, and you lose your accreditational standard or whatever. And I still refer back to it. It was so integral into my upbringing that twice a week, we went and saw, his name was Master P, and we went to Master P's little dojo, and we'd bow and we'd pay respects because he was the superior in that situation. And you did all the fucking synchronized just because you was told to. I'm telling you to because I know better. I don't care if you think you look silly, because it doesn't matter. You'll be better for this. You're practicing your form. And as you said, being hitting kids, it was great fun. We obviously had head guards on because we were kids, but I won't forget this either. We was training because every time you do a belt graduation, they'd make you have a little fight or something like for show for the parents and that. And because we were getting up into the upper belt ranges, it was less for show and it was more like, yeah, have a scrap. Obviously, they didn't say that, but it was like, yeah, you can go for it a little bit more. And I was up against this kid. He was similar height to me, but I didn't like him. I really didn't like him. I thought he was a right cunt. So we get in there, and he's beating the fuck out of me. He's beating the fuck out of me. And I just remember I just had my guard up. And I dodged one punch, and I fucking swung one just with all my teenage angst. Just get off me. I knocked his wobbly teeth out.
Oh, excellent.
Just went splattering on the floor. Oh, I've got to go, because there was blood and everything pouring out, and everyone was like, "Oh, Connor did that," because half of them didn't realise the tooth came out. They just thought I punched them hard. And it was a proud moment.
My brown belt grading for jiu-jitsu, I was tired. It was getting towards the end, and that's when they stopped pushing you. I very clearly remember this guy coming at me with a genuine broken bottle, because that's what we use, live weapons. And I'm thinking, I'm so tired. I'm going to die right now. Didn't even get a cut, but it missed my face by inches, and fucking hell, that was close. And you got to put him down, and you got to hey.
In jiu-jitsu, did you have like weapons that you're training?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh no, not use of, no.
Oh, okay.
No.
We did in taekwondo, and it just makes me laugh thinking back. We could choose like I can't remember the name of it now, a stick and some nunchucks and this, that, and the other. And looking back, I chose nunchucks. I thought it was fucking great. I thought I was fucking unreal. My parents got well pissed off at the amount of vases and shit I knocked over whilst practicing at home. But as I get older, why the fuck am I training in nunchucks? I'm not going to be walking around the supermarket in Tesco see a fucking fight.
Unlikely, isn't it?
Don't worry.
Don't worry. I'm just going to go over and get me nunchucks.
But just how ridiculous would I look just walking forward like this? You can do some serious damage with them, obviously, but just imagine me walking down the aisle just like this, spinning two things. It'd be like, who ordered an exotic dancer? It's like male nipple tassels.
Nipple tassels, I was going to say that.
Just like, what? Oh, so you're not doing a 1 minute hate?
No, I'm too tired, mate. Fuck it.
Too tired. All righty, McShitey. Let's wrap it up.
So, if you want to make more money with less work, less hassle, and fewer headaches by attracting the top clients, selling to them at higher fees, and having them all fed into your business with a pipeline, which itself is filled in the background, hands off, and on autopilot, you need to go to ottpodcast.co.uk, get subscribed to this podcast, and also get on the Business Accelerator. I think that's it.
Yes, you go do that. I hope you enjoyed exactly 6 minutes. Roughly about 6 minutes and 45 seconds of business talk that we had today, and you enjoyed the rest of the jibber jabber. But in the meantime,
stay safe, stay inside, wash your hands. Please do not try and enforce toxic femininity onto me, and do not shit on your fingers. Ta-da!